Well, good morning, Unity of Charlotte. Oh, we can do better than that. Good morning, Unity of Charlotte.
Good morning.
Yeah, now we're in the house. Wonderful. Well, welcome to this wonderful first Sunday in October. Isn't it feeling so fallish out there? It's just so crisp. Don't feel humidity at all. I must admit, this is my first fall in Charlotte, and I'm looking forward to fall. Well, we're so glad that you could join us today. My name is Reverend Sally Robbins, and I would like to welcome each and every one of you, whether you're in this room joining us or whether you're watching on Access 21, on our YouTube channel. We have so many ways that people can connect with us, and we're glad that you're here with us. Unity of Charlotte is nurturing a deep, mature experience of God through the practice of unity principles. Simply put, we are here to love, grow, and serve. We believe spiritual community enhances our experience of life, making it richer, deeper, and more expanded. If you're joining us for the very first time today, welcome. We're so grateful that you're here with us, and we want to welcome you. Any of the people that you see with a name badge that has a blue ribbon on it, they are our welcome committee. Feel free to stop any of them if you have questions, or any of us. We'd love to invite you to partake of some wonderful goodies after the service. There are welcome packets on the table right outside here in the foyer that tell you a little bit more about us, so we're so glad you're with us today. So I'm going to introduce Bob and Shannon, because then that'll make better flow for later.
Living in the flow.
Living in the flow. Yes, that's what we're doing. Bob and Shannon, how long have we known each other? It was 6 years, 7 years, whatever. I actually was given their CD. I was the minister of a church right outside of Washington, D.C. at the time, and that's where Bob and Shannon are based. And they were kind of putting their stuff out there, and I happened to hear it and went, oh my God, they're good. And so I invited them to come into my church, and they're still playing at that church once a month. And they are just delightful beings. Not only is Bob a gifted singer-songwriter, and Shannon backs him up beautifully. She's the brains, and she does all the marketing, she does all the booking. They're a perfect partnership. But the thing that I love about them the most, in addition to how talented they both are, is how real and authentic they both are. They come from their heart, and I have to say they're some of the nicest people I've ever had the privilege of working with. So I'm so delighted that you're with us today. Wait till you hear them. They're going to knock your socks off. And if you don't come to the concert tonight, you're going to miss something incredible. So, without further ado, I'm going to invite Reverend Marty to come up, and he'll do our opening prayer.
Thank you. Thank you, Sally. We are blessed to be together today, and I too want to welcome Shannon and Bob. You'll be hearing from them shortly. We've been working on this for a while, so finally the stars aligned and we got that worked out, so we're just grateful. I can also tell you they're newly married. No longer living in sin, so that's, Anyways, let's just take a moment to enter into that place of recognition. Breathing into this moment, a few deep cleansing breaths. Just allow ourselves to become present here and now. To open our hearts, to open our minds to the very presence of the divine. We are reminded that there is only the presence of divine love. That is the source and substance of all that is. And as we come together this day, we do so in remembrance of who we are. Divine beings, one with the Most High. And so we open ourselves, we surrender to that awareness. We allow that divine intelligence to move through us. We know we are open and receptive to spiritual insight and wisdom. We open our hearts to experience divine love. We release anything unlike the perfect presence of peace. And so as we come together in this spiritual community, it is in that recognition of the one life, always present, revealing itself more fully through each of us. We are indeed blessed beyond measure to be together, and so I name this day good and very good. I know it unfolds perfectly, and that which needs to be heard is heard, that which needs to be said is said, that which needs to be sung is sung. And we are blessed. For this and so much more, I'm simply giving thanks. And through the power of the living Christ, I simply speak this word, I release it into the law of mind, knowing that it is so. As together we say, and so it is. And so I'd like to welcome up our beloveds for our first song today.
Good morning. Yeah. It feels so good to not be in sin anymore, I got to tell you that. We are so grateful to be here, and so we're going to do this sort of congregational song. I don't say sort of because you're not going to have the words up on the screen, but it's one of those songs where you're going to go, oh, I know this song, even though you've never heard it. So just sing along and just let it flow. It's from a Rumi poem from centuries and centuries ago. It was fashioned into a song, and I think it speaks a lot of truth. Well, we've come to the place where everything is music. Everything is music. Everything is music. Well, we've come to the place where everything is music. Everything is music. Let it play. So you might want to put your hands together with us. Tell me, why do you stay in jail when the door is wide open? Sing with us, the door. The door is wide open. The door is wide open. Tell me, why do you stay in jail when the door is wide open? Let the beauty that you love be what you do. Can you get up on your feet with us? Come on, let's do this thing. Let the beauty that you love be what you do. Here we go. Stop talking now and open up the window. The one right there in the middle of your heart. Let go of your hands and sit down in the circle. You know you got no need to keep yourself apart. Well, the day you wake up sad and empty, don't go back to sleep. Come on, sing with us. Don't go back to sleep. Hey, here we go. Don't go back to sleep. Well, the day you wake up sad and empty, don't go back to sleep. 'Cause there's a million ways to kneel and kiss the ground. Let's repeat that one. How about that? There's a million ways. There's a million ways to kneel and kiss the ground. There we go. Back to the beginning. Here we go. Well, we've come to the place, say with us, where everything is music. Everything is music. Everything is music. Well, we've come to the place where everything is music. Everything is music.
Together, today, I appreciate all the blessings in my life. I focus my attention on what I want to experience. I release anything which no longer serves my highest good. I appreciate who I am and the life I am creating. Today, I appreciate all the blessings in my life. And so I now humbly turn this over to our wonderful guests today.
Well, good morning. You guys got a lot of good mornings this morning. So we reside, our house, I will say, is in Annapolis, outside of Annapolis, Maryland. So we did get a yay. We made our way on Thursday-ish to Myrtle Beach, and we were in Myrtle Beach on Friday and yesterday for some events, and with you, beloveds, today. So thank you for having us. It has been a little while in the making, so it feels good to be here. Y'all are beautiful and welcoming, and we definitely thank you for that. So when we were planning all this, the topic that was suggested was what we appreciate appreciates. And I know you guys kicked off your pledge drive on Friday. Yes? Yes, with gusto and momentum. And I know that's going on throughout this month. So my personal, humble opinion is that the flow of money, that money exchange, that financial exchange, that we as humans created and we continue to support in very odd and strange ways, that flow begins when we are able to appreciate more and more everything that happens around us, to us, through us, as us. Everything. Yeah. So today, to kick off the month of this all-important pledge to continue to do the work and the service that you as a community provide to this world, we're going to talk about appreciating everything to allow that financial then to flow.
That means everything. So I wrote this song around this idea that I don't know, I think it was Einstein who said that you can either see the world as a friendly universe or as a hostile universe. Was it Einstein? And he's usually responsible for most of the wisdom that I follow. So I thought, well, things don't really happen to you like they happen for you, because if everything's in your favor, then it's all happening for you. And so I wrote this song. I actually made a blog once around this song. Sometimes we do a song blog, we call it. So we put the song out there and we tell the story behind it. And this magazine picked it up because they loved the title. It said, "How to Go from Pissed to Blissed." Dark night, jaw tight, teeth clenched, soul not right, and eyes wide, heart pounds quick, breaths are the only sound in gut check, suspect, train wreck is up in view, and this pain is gonna have it talking to you, sleeping might be the proper thing to do, but suddenly you're covered up with 3 a.m. blue. Well, this isn't fair, and this isn't right. This can't be happening to me tonight. Well, it isn't, my friend, no. It's happening for you. Front steps, empty nest, heavy sigh on your chest in summer moon, late June, tide traffic jams, broken plans and loose lips, pink slips, short sales and doctor trips, and last dime, last in line, broken-hearted valentines and white lies, morning cries, MRIs and flat lines. And yes, this is real, and yes, this is right, but no, this isn't happening to you tonight. Well, it isn't, my friend, and it isn't the end, no, no. Well, it isn't, my friend, it's happening for you, for you, for your highest good is what it's after. Lessons and blessings disguised as disasters to wake you and shake you, break and reshape you into something else entirely brand new. Brand new. Thank you.
So, the world can so easily bombard us with distractions, simple distractions that take us away from what we believe we want to be experiencing in a moment. Yet, once we get through those moments, how often do we say, boy, I wouldn't have wished that on anyone, but I wouldn't have changed it for the world. Why? Because we can then see the gifts that challenge, that milestone, that experience that may in the moment have had us a bit frazzled. We can then see the gifts that it brought to us. So the question is, when do we appreciate? How about now? And now? Right now. Whatever the present moment offers, there is always a chance for us to show gratitude and appreciation. Whatever the present moment offers. In each moment, we have to determine if the opportunity presenting is one that we choose to appreciate or one that we choose not to appreciate. It is our choice. The energy of that decision then follows in our words, in our gestures, in our actions, in our behaviors. So the return on the investment of that moment will mirror the level of appreciation that we brought to it. What we appreciate appreciates. What we appreciate doesn't appreciate in random fashion. What we appreciate appreciates at the level of intensity of all of the appreciations from yourself and others that somehow magically created the present moment that you are experiencing right now. Plus, how we choose to appreciate that present moment. So everything that led up to that, plus what we add to it, that level of appreciation matters. It's everything. Eric Butterworth, in Spiritual Economics, describes two types of people. He describes givers and takers. So I want to read this excerpt. The takers are people who believe that their lives will always be the total of what they can get from the world. They are always thinking get. They plan and scheme ways to get what they want in money, in love, and happiness, and in all kinds of good. No matter that they may be applying metaphysical techniques, they still may very well be takers. But whatever may be their spiritual ideals or lack of any, no matter what they take, they can never know peace or security or fulfillment. The givers, on the other hand, are convinced that life is a giving process. Thus, their subtle motivation in all their ways is to give themselves away in love, in service, and in all the many helpful ways they can invest themselves. They are always secure, for they intuitively know that their good flows from within. Where does appreciation come from? So the question is, would you consider yourself a giver? And if so, do you consciously appreciate every present moment opportunity that presents itself? Are you able to appreciate it for all that it is, and then move on and be gracious in the next moment for all that it is and has the potential to be? Sometimes we wallow in what we can't appreciate from that moment, and we drag that wallowing into this present moment. And this present moment doesn't have anything to do with that. What we appreciate defines our core values. What we appreciate is an expression of our beliefs. What we appreciate is one of the tools that we have to grow and to support others' growth around us. The spiritual practice is to shorten the length of time it takes us to find, to feel, and to express our appreciation. Regardless of how we see it with our two human eyes. Shorten the length of time it takes us to find, feel, and express our appreciation. So, I would love to invite you into a meditation. And as you get comfortable, uncrossed, and get in touch with your breath, allow the inhale to cleanse your spirit. Be present in this moment. And I invite you into your heart space and find that seed of appreciation that is always planted within your heart. And as you allow that to envelop your heart and expand and radiate through your entire physical body, and feel yourself sitting in appreciation. And I invite you to bring into your consciousness a short life review. Those potential challenges, those potential roadblocks, those potential hurts. that have all created the you that sits here today in appreciation for everything that came to you in each of those moments. And I invite you to identify any place that might be sitting outside of that chair of appreciation and to bring it into your heart fully and see the gifts, see the impact, see the beauty.
Haven't you noticed the patterns of the pain in your past? The things that broke you, they also awoke you to the questions you needed to ask. The sleepless nights and the dizzying heights and the dreams, some of which came true. Tough breaks, heartaches, perfect mistakes created this version of you. 'Cause everything you go through grows you, grows you, and everything you go through grows you, exposes who you are. If it hurt, it made you softer. If it was hard, it fueled the hunger. If it touched you, your heart took hold. If it was simple, it made you wise. If it was sweet, it made you smile. We did an indelible impression on your soul. Your feet, they walked, and your lips, they talked, and your hands dug around for the proof. Every look, every book, picture in your mind that you took created this version of you. And everything you go through grows you, grows you, and everything you go through grows you, exposes the roots of an endless summer, part-time temporary lovers in the swoon of the deep blue sky. And as the time flew, you planted and gathered your truth as it passed before your eyes. And the wound is where the light gets in, revealing the masterpiece just beneath the skin. And in the glow of your own light, your petals open wide, and you bloom right where you are.
patterns of the pain in your past. The things that broke you, they also woke you to the questions you needed to ask.
So as you ask yourself those questions, ask yourself, can I appreciate that experience, that thing? Can I find within it the gift that it has added a new lotus petal to my flower, to my being, to my essence? Watch yourself plant another seed of appreciation in your heart. And allow those two seeds to integrate and grow together to strengthen the level of intensity of the appreciation that you can share. As you begin to come back into the room, feeling the chair under you, getting back in touch with your breath, wiggling those fingers and those toes, and eventually opening your eyes. Were you able to see a different perspective, a different intensity of appreciation for whatever might have popped up in your mind? And what pops up today will be different than what pops up tomorrow. So that's a practice that we can choose to practice over and over and over again as we humans relive some past experiences. So to sum all of this up, there is a story by Don Miguel Ruiz called The Master. And it is from The Mastery of Love. And I just felt like I needed to share this to wrap up this concept of what we appreciates. Once upon a time, a master was talking to a crowd of people. And his message was so wonderful that everyone felt touched by his words of love. In the crowd, there was a man who had listened to every word the master said. This man was very humble, and he had a great heart. He was so touched by the master's words that he felt the need to invite the master to his home. When the master finished speaking, the man walked through the crowd, looked into the eyes of the master and told him, "I know you are busy and everyone wants your attention. I know you hardly have time to even listen to my own words, but my heart is so open And I feel so much love for you that I have the need to invite you to my home. I want to prepare the best meal for you. I don't expect you will accept, but I just had to let you know. The master looked into the man's eyes, and with the most beautiful smile, he said, "Prepare everything. I will be there." Then the master walked away. At these words, the joy in the man's heart was strong. He could hardly wait to serve the master and to express his love for him. This would be the most important day of his life. The master was going to be with him. He bought the best food and wine. He found the most beautiful clothes to offer as a gift to the master. Then he ran home to prepare everything to receive the master. He cleaned his entire house, prepared the most wonderful meal, and made the table look beautiful. His heart was full of joy because the master would soon be there. The man was waiting anxiously when someone knocked at the door. Eagerly, he opened the door, but instead of the master, he found an old woman. She looked into his eyes and said, "I am starving. Can you give me a piece of bread?" The man was a little disappointed because it was not the master. He looked at the woman and said, "Please, come into my house." He sat her in the place he had prepared for the master and gave her the food that he made for the master. But he was anxious and could hardly wait for her to finish eating. The old woman was touched by the generosity of this man. She thanked him and left. The man had barely finished preparing the table for the master again when somebody knocked at the door. This time it was another stranger who had traveled across the desert. The stranger looked into the man's face and said, "I am thirsty. Can you give me something to drink?" The man was a little disappointed again because it was not the master. He invited the stranger into his home and sat him in the place he had prepared for the master. He served the wine he had intended to give the master. When the stranger left, the man again prepared everything for the master. Someone knocked at the door again. When the man opened the door, there stood a child. The child looked up at the man and said, "I am freezing. Can you give me a blanket to cover my body?" The man was a little disappointed because it was not the master. But he looked into the eyes of that child and felt the love in his heart. Quickly, he gathered the clothes he had intended to give the master, and he covered the child with the clothes. The child thanked him and left. The man prepared everything again for the master and then waited until it was very late. When he realized the master was not coming, he was disappointed, but right away he forgave the master. He said to himself, "I knew I could not expect the master to come to this humble home. Although he said he would come, something more important must have taken him elsewhere." The master did not come, but at least he told me he would, and that is enough for my heart to be happy. Slowly, he put the food away, he put the wine away, and he went to bed. That night, he dreamed the master came to his home. The man was happy to see him, but he didn't know that he was dreaming. "Master, you came, you kept your word." The master replied, "Yes, I am here. But I was here before. I was hungry, and you fulfilled my need for food. I was thirsty, and you gave me wine. I was cold, and you covered me with clothes. Whatever you do for others, you do for me." the man woke up and his heart was filled with happiness because he understood what the master had taught him. The master loved him so much that he had sent 3 people to give him the greatest lesson. The master lives within everyone. When you give food to the one who is starving, when you give water to the one who is thirsty, when you cover the one who is cold, you give your love to the master. So the man in this story is a perfect example of the blossoming lotus. Each person that showed up at his door asked him for the very special item that he intended for someone else. He could have looked at that like the mud and the muck, but he invited it in. He knew he could show them appreciation for their situation. He knew they would appreciate his attention to their basic need in that moment. He appreciated, and the master appreciated him for it.
How can I say anything to thank you? Anything grace? 'Cause everything in front of me is heaven, everywhere in every place. Every pleasure, every pain, every joy, and every heartache. Anything but thank you. How can I say anything but grace? Everything in front of me is a miracle. Every line on every face, every handshake, every embrace, every worry, every doubt, up and down, and every mistake. Thank you. I want to sing it with us. How can I say anything but grace? And how can I say anything but grace? I say grace. And I say grace. Everything in front of me is heaven, everywhere and every place. And everything in front of me is a miracle. Every pleasure, every pain, every joy, and every heartache. Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both. What'd I tell you? Aren't they wonderful?
Yes.
So what I would also tell you, for those coming to that concert, it's really more than a concert. What they do is more than, as you can see. So invite you to be here. So this year we are beginning a physical fitness program. And we want our community to be physically fit. And so the way we do that is because we live and breathe on the generosity of our congregation. And so it's helpful for us to know what you're planning on giving so that we can be good stewards of said gifts. So to kick off this program, I've invited a lovely couple, John and Cindy. John's still dealing with stuff. So, a lot of people are dealing with stuff right now. But Cindy more than makes up for him. So this wonderful couple came in here not too long ago and just kind of became such an integral part of the community. We're so grateful. So let me introduce half of our co-chairs, Cindy Root.
Good morning. I am Cindy Root, and I brought the script with me just like a baby blanket, but probably I'm not going to use it. I've been with Unity for about 20 years. I have been very involved in a church in Chesapeake called Unity Renaissance. John and I both have been on the board. We've both been treasurers, so we're real familiar with the ebb and flow of church finances. But I think I'm most excited about being a co-chair of this program, because as it says in Malachi in the Bible, Jehovah was talking to the Hebrews and he said, go ahead, test me in this. Give a tenth of your harvest into the temple granaries and see if I won't open the gates of heaven and pour more blessings upon you than you can even store. And so I'm excited to hear back from you all as we step out in faith to support this amazing ministry. I can't wait to hear the miracles that happen in your lives as the Lord Spirit abundantly blesses you. Our experience, I get to be the testimony to, our experience of this church. John and I moved to North Carolina a couple years ago. First year we just played, slept in on Sundays. But the second year we're like, we really want a family. We really want a church family. So we came here and we found the congregation to be warm and embracing, but they were searching for a minister. And we had been there, done that twice. And we're like, and it's a bit of a drive for us. We come from Denver. So I said, look, let's try out some of the churches in Denver. I mean, they're mainstream churches, but it's just a matter of interpretation. You just have to reinterpret. So we went to one and another one, and the third one, John's walking out going, I said, what's the matter, babe? He goes, I'm so tired of reinterpreting the message. It's a sin salvation message, and I'm not putting any other religion down. It just wasn't a fit for us. So he said, it looks to me like Unity of Charlotte finally got a minister. Let's go check him out. So we came down here and heard Marty, and he is amazing. He is amazing. He gives that positive, wonderful bent. We said, we're sold. We jumped in 100%. What this ministry offers is something that so many aching hearts need. Thousands of people in Charlotte are looking for a place that they can come to, that it doesn't matter what color your skin is. It doesn't matter what your background was growing up. It doesn't matter what your sexual orientation is. It doesn't matter where you've been, what you've done. Whether you have an addiction, whether you suffer from depression, it doesn't matter. Because when you walk in these doors, you're a beloved child of God, a perfect expression of spirit in this physical plane. That's what this church is all about. I mean, when we came in and found that our church is involved with a group of churches in the winter, I don't know how many of you know this, that invite the homeless in, serve them a hot meal, and give them a warm bed to sleep in for the night. I like to think that if Jesus Christ came back today, he would say, oh my gosh, there's finally a group that got it. It wasn't in vain, you know? Because this is a place of perfect acceptance. And how many places are there in the world of perfect acceptance? And I believe that there are thousands in Charlotte that are dying to enter these doors. But we do rely on you for support in order to keep the lights on. I think in this passage it said to feed the temple. And, you know, in modern day it would be to keep the lights on, to pay the mortgage. We do rely on you to make this vital mission successful. We rely on you. And this whole program, the fiscal program, is about asking for your support of this wonderful mission, but also celebrating the financial prosperity that will come into your lives for stepping out in faith. Thank you.
When you lay down your head, you want to sleep at night, but you're wide-eyed and worrying heavy on the state of your life. I say let go, leave it by the side of the pillow, because the looser the grip, baby, the lighter the load. When the weight of the world has descended on you, they say be strong, hold on, your pride will carry you through. I say the stronger the pride, the longer the road, because the looser the grip, baby, the lighter the load. And the looser the grip, baby, the lighter the load.
Beautiful, wonderful, thank you. So we invite you to stay for lunch. We invite you to stay and take a nap if you want, so you can be back here. We'll start at 6:30. If you haven't gotten tickets yet, you can do it online or when you get here tonight. But it's a special treat, and I'm so grateful. Oh, and they've got stuff. So if you'd like to take Bob and Shannon home with you, you can't, but you can take some product home with you and listen to them, as some of us who are devotees do on a regular basis. So let's stand together and say our prayer of protection, and then we'll end the service there today. We'll have lunch, and it'll be grand. So together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Have a blessed week. Thank you.